I'm going to speak right tonight about conflicting emotions inside of a Nisayon. We're going to begin with the Nisayon that the Torah talks about explicitly as a Nisayon, and that is the Nisayon that Avraham Avinu had by Akedas Yitzchak. At Akedas Yitzchak, the Rebbeinu Shalom told Avraham Avinu to bring Yitzchak up as an oiler. Avraham Avinu understood that, not just to bring him up on the Mizbeach, but actually to shecht him, to kill him, to sacrifice him like every other korban. So what was Avraham Avinu's reaction? Pasuk tells us, that he woke up early in the morning and he saddled up his own donkey. And then Chazal say, Rashi brings, Nizdoris l'mitzvah, Vayashkem, he was Nizdoris, he had his reasons, alacrity in the mitzvah, with energy, enthusiasm, perhaps even with excitement. Says Rashi, Hu ba'atzmoi, he saddled up the donkey himself. He didn't command it to another. Because the Ava seems to break through all bounds. So Avraham Avinu seems to be full of Ava, full of energy, full of excitement to do the Ratzon Hashem, to do something which is the antithesis of his being, that the whole Klal Yisrael, as far as he understands, is going to be destroyed right now. Everything he's lived for, everything he waited for, all the years of his life, to be able to have a son, not a Yishmael, but a Yitzchak, who's going to carry on his work. It's all going to be ended right now. And yet, Avraham Avinu, it's v'ava v'yashkem v'bor v'chavishes chamor. Weiter, what do we see? Weiter, we see that the pasuk tells us that when he was going to Har Moriah, so the pasuk says that he went together with Yitzchak, and they both went with Vayelchel Shneim Yachtov. They went together on the way up to Har Moriah. What does it mean, Yachtov? Yachtov Pashat means they're walking next to each other. Rashi says, Avram Shehu Yodei Shaholei L'Shichas B'nai. Avram Avinu, who understands he's going to shecht his son. Vayahoyach Berotzen V'Simcha. Berotzen V'Simcha. He went willingly, within his own volition, V'Simcha, and happily, with joy. Yitzchak at this point didn't understand what was going on. Here we see what? We see Avraham Avinu with Ava, with Zrizis, with Simcha, going to do the Ratzon Hashem. The Pashup Shat would understand is that all of his love for his son, all of the difficulty he's going to have in ending his son's life in such a violent way, has been subsumed, has already been negated by the fact that he's willing to do the Ratzon Hashem, even when it's going to be so painful and so difficult. That's the Pashup Shat. We see Ava, we see Zrizis, we see Simcha. Yet the Medrash tells us something which perhaps in this light seems to be shocking. As the pasuk says, that when Avraham Avinu came to shecht his son, Vayishlach Avram es yodo, Avram sent his hand, he took the knife to shecht his son. Says the Medrash Rabbo, Hu shaleach yad litel es hasakin. He sent his hand to take the knife. Ve'enov maridos hadimos, and his eyes were spilling out tears. Ve'noflos dimos le'enov shel Yitzchak. Ve'rachmanus shel Abba. And those tears fell into the eyes of Yitzchak from the mercy of his father. And nonetheless, his heart was glad with joy to be able to do the Ratzon Hashem. We see a complete dichotomy over here. We see what seems to be a steer. It seems to be a steer. Here he's mamish b'simcha to do the Ratzon Hashem, to be able to shecht his son, because that's what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants him to do. And yet he has rachmanis on his son that he's crying. He's pouring out tears, happening simultaneously. So the question we could ask is the following. The fact that Avraham Avinu was crying right now when he was coming to shecht Yitzchak, is that a chesaron In other words, in some way, is he not living up to the darga of the Nisayon that he was given, that he wasn't able to mevatel, even that feeling of rachmanis for his son, be able to do the Ratzon Hashem with a simcha, with a complete simcha? Is it a chesar in Avraham Avinu, or is it a mila in Avraham Avinu? I don't think it's any middle ground over here. It's one or the other. What I mean is like this. The one way you can hear it is to the degree that he still felt rachmanis for Yitzchak means that he wasn't totally consumed. He wasn't totally mevatel his ratzon, because he still felt rachmanis for his son. And for Karen, just the opposite. He still felt the rachmanis for his son. At that time when he was feeling the pain that he's going to lose his child, and he's going to be the garam, he's going to be the cause of losing his child, and he has such rachmanis, such a feeling for his son that he's crying, at that moment, he's still doing it b'simcha. Meaning his heart, his neshama, is entertaining two things at once, two seemingly diverse feelings. A feeling of simcha and a feeling of rachmanis, a feeling of joy and a feeling of sadness. And that, I believe, is not a chesar in the Nisayon. It's a mila. It's a mila that when a person comes to the Nisayon and he feels human feelings, he feels sadness, he feels rachmanis, whatever it is, he's in pain. And he's able to do it. He's able to be oimed in Nisayon with that. It's not a chesar that he wasn't mevatel that. Kodesh Baruch Hu wants a person doing a Nisayon. He wants a human being. Avraham Avinu was not supposed to mevatel the humanity inside of him, the feeling that a father has for a son inside of him, to be able to just shech that inside of him. That's still there. So he's crying and he's happy all in the same moment because it's all there. And I believe that's what David HaMelech means when he says it in Pasuk Tehillim. Kuf Yates. Tzaru motzeg mitzuuni. Pain and difficulty I found mitzvosecha shashua. And then your mitzvahs, I rejoice. I do them with gladness, with happiness, with joy. Says the Radak. Be'ez tzora. At the time of a tzara, shemitzuuni hatzoras, when I'm experiencing tzoras, I'm experiencing difficulties. Mitzvosecha shashua, your mitzvahs shashua. I'm doing them with gladness, with joy, with excitement. And that's the nechama for the Tsar. Meaning, the Ribono Shel Olam demands from us sometimes the ability to entertain, to straddle two opposite emotions simultaneously. And that's gufa part of the Nisayon. And that's exactly the being aimed by Nisayon. That's exactly what Hashem wants us to do. He wants our humanity to be there. And even though our humanity is there, and even though Avraham Avinu is feeling pain right now, but he's still able to do it b'simcha, that's the grechsta kiyum of the Nisayon. And we have this in different times of our life. Different Nisayos we go through, where the objective is not to live up for ourselves. It's to be who we are. It's to feel the emotions truly, genuinely, fully, and still be able to do the Ratzon Hashem, which seems to defy that which I really want. Did Avraham Avinu want to shech his son? How would he be crying tears of rachmanis if he did? Of course he didn't want to. But he was able to mevatel his Ratzon, but not to mevatel as being an Abba, as being a Tati, as being a father. Hashem didn't want that. And that meant that it was a kiyum of the Nisayon, even beyond what would have been if Chas v'Shalom, he wouldn't have mevatel that. That's the madrega that Avraham Avinu reached, and that's the madrega that we're all shaykh to in the Nisayon.